Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today will be a special double feature as we showcase two different versions of the Masters of the Universe character, King Randor. Alright, so on our left, we have the Masters of the Universe Origins, King Randor. It's kind of like a recreation of the original figure, but with updated engineering that we see in the Masters of the Universe Origins line. The figure on our right is a recreation of the unproduced Masters of the Universe 2000X King Randor. So it's essentially the same character, just two different versions. I do have the original King Randor figure from way back in the day, but the one I bought it secondhand and it's incomplete. It was missing some accessories. I've showcased that figure in a couple of videos, so if you want to check those out, just hunt it down. The figure on our right, King Randor, this is based off of the Masters of the Universe 2000X design. So this was like a lifetime ago, and to the best of my memory, I don't think Mattel actually ever made a King Randor figure in the 2000X line, but there was a Staction figure produced by NECA, recreating the 2000X King Randor, and the Staction figures were kind of like miniature statues that were in scale with the original Mattel 2000X action figures. They were still designed by the same studio, which was the Four Horsemen, and they looked almost like identical to like what you'd expect from a Mattel 2000X figure at the time, but they just weren't articulated. They're the same proportion, same height. They just were miniature statues. And they did produce a King Randor, and that's something I've been on the hunt for some time. It's not hard to come by, but I'm just not willing to pull the trigger on it. So when Mattel made the Origins style King Randor figure, I couldn't resist. And we're going to do a side-by-side comparison of both figures, just for the fun of it, because I think it'd make for an interesting video. Right, so as you can see here, these are both Masters of the Universe Origins figures. The card backing is the same size, but you do have the different graphics. Here is the traditional Origins card backing, whereas this one has the Rise of the Snake Men theme toward the top. Rise of the Snake Men was a subline they did in the 2000X series way back in the day. I want to say it might have been toward the tail end of the line. I might be wrong. If there's anything wrong, just make sure to correct me in the comments down below. 2000X, it's my favorite line of Masters figures, but like I said, this was like a lifetime ago, and some of the details get kind of fuzzy in my head. In the back, we have wonderful illustrations, and then here's the 2000X version. Both include comic books. And then here's the lineup of figures that were present in this wave. There was Webstore, Ninjor, and Trapjaw. And the Rise of the Snake Men included Snake Tila, the Snake Trooper, and Slamurai. I believe I reviewed the Snake Trooper in other videos. I can't remember if I did Slamurai or not. Alright, so the OG King Randor, for his play features, he has his staff, and then you could twist him into powerful positions. Likewise, the 2000X, same thing. In terms of the character descriptions, King Randor rules Eternia justly with wisdom, compassion, and reason in the name of freedom. 2000X. Once the captain of Eternia's defending forces, Randor was named king after defeating Skeletor. And for the Rise of the Snake Men, Sis, the dreaded Snake Men have arisen from the darkest depths of Snake Mountain. King Hiss and his repulsive reptiles have vowed to destroy He-Man and his heroic warriors, as well as Sunman and the rulers of the sun. Will Eternia fall to the slithering swarm? And let's get to opening up these guys. And don't forget, there's the little mini comic that we see here. And then this one has one as well. They both also come with a sheet that shows you which pieces of the figure are detachable. So on 2000X, you can remove the head, arms, and he detaches at the waist. You can also remove the boots. The OG King Randor, you can also remove his head, the arms. He separates from the waist, and also the boots as well. So if you're a customizer, kit basher, or if you're just a kid that wants to create unique characters, you can easily swap the body pieces. I love the mini comic books. It's a nice callback to the comic books we got way back when in the 80s. Nicely drawn artwork. I've said this in previous videos, but I kind of wish they'd eventually collect these, like in a maybe like an oversized hardcover or trade paperback. I think it'd be fun. Yeah, so nice little bonuses. Alright, so we have two drastically different designs for King Randor. Now let's balance out the colors so they're a little bit more accurate. So here is the Origins figure based off of the original figure. It's very true to the original design. I want to say, I think the chest armor here is the same that we find on Jitsu. I think it's just colored differently. The 2000X Randor, same character, just completely different design. If you collected the 2000X figures, you'll remember they kind of had almost like an anime aesthetic. That's not very present in the Origins reinterpretations of those characters. I think it's mostly because, you know, these are done in a smaller 5.5, 6-inch scale. So the proportions are more in line with the original Masters of the Universe figures. Whereas the original 2000X figures, the action figure proportions were much more dynamic, much more heroic, and kind of like almost like in a comic book, manga-esque sort of vein. So we can see the two different costumes. Also notice the different color palettes. The OG design has a much more vibrant red, whereas the one on the right, the 2000X, the red's a little bit more muted. The shades of gold appear to be identical, or at least within the same ballpark. But if you notice the wristbands, you know, this one looks a little bit more on the copper side, whereas this one's a little bit more gold. 2000X features a much more futuristic body armor, whereas the OG one's kind of done in the more traditional Masters of the Universe design aesthetic. The color of their capes are different as well. 2000X has a lighter shade of blue, whereas the OG, it's a little bit more, it's a deeper shade, which really harkens back to the original toy. And the designs of their staffs are different as well. Here's a closer look at the staffs. You'll notice the different heads on each of them, and also different materials of plastic. The OG is a much shinier, glossier plastic, whereas the one on the right for 2000X a little bit more muted. Alright, so the capes, I believe, are the same. They're identical molds, I think. They appeared... No, I take it back. Wait, are they the same? They're somewhat this. All right, so the capes appear to be different molds. The folds and wrinkles look to be very similar. But I think there is some differences in them. I don't think they're the same. Yeah, this one looks a little bit wider. They both have that very thin necklace piece that holds the cape together. I'm kind of curious about how thick that is, because there's a part of me that gets paranoid that might tear off easily. Yeah, so just exercise some caution. You know, you don't want to stretch this out and accidentally snap these pieces here. I don't know how fragile they are, and I don't know if after time, if this will suffer from dry rot and become very fragile. Let me take a look at the other one also. The capes almost look identical. They might be. I might be wrong on that, though. The folds look the same, but this one appears that the folds are a little bit deeper, if that makes any sense. And then as for the characters themselves, let's do a side-by-side comparison of the heads. You'll notice 2000X has a slightly deeper shade of brown for the hair and beard. The crown is not removable on the Origins figure, which is nice because the one I have the OG one, and I don't have the crown. And any of the accessories from the original figure command high prices on the secondary market. You could find reproductions, but even then, you're still paying a lot of money, even just for the repo pieces. Alright, so as for the figures themselves, again, a very different aesthetic for the armor. Both figures are incredibly popular with fans because the original King Randor, it's kind of hard to come by, very expensive on the secondary market. And like I said, I don't believe Mattel ever made a fully dedicated 2000X King Randor, with the exception of the Staction figure done by NECA. But they're really nice pieces. Not too difficult to find in the collector market right now. And the prices are pretty reasonable also. So yeah, I like these a lot. You know, if you're a fan of the OG Masters of the Universe, I think the OG style King Randor is a must purchase. If you're a fan, not everyone's a fan of 2000X. I love 2000X. I thought that was great. If you're a fan, I think this is definitely worth the purchase. And this is kind of cool. They have two different versions of King Randor also. You know, they're both very unique from one another. You know, I do appreciate the asymmetry of 2000X. He has different gauntlets on each hand. He has the almost kind of like robot-looking leg on the other side. So, both really cool, fun, unique figures, worthy of any Masters of the Universe collection. Alright, so with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.